No, Mom. You can't force me to marry someone I don't love, someone I don't even know. Plus, I'm a celebrity. I can't do this, I protested. Before you became a celebrity, you were my son first, my mom snapped. Mom, I love and respect you, but I'm too young to get married, I argued. This isn't a request, Joe, she said firmly. Let me introduce myself. I'm Chiamaka Okafor, 25 years old, son of Mrs. Ngozi Okafor. I'm handsome, rich, and famous. Every girl's dream. I'm an actor and the heir to my mom's business. Just when I thought I could enjoy life, my mom dropped this marriage bombshell, and I'm not going through with it. Mom, please, I don't want to argue with you, I pleaded. I don't care, she shouted and suddenly collapsed. Mom, I yelled, rushing to her side. Kenechukwu, I called for my assistant. Kenechukwu. Yes, sir, he answered, running in. What's happening? Get the car ready, I ordered, picking up my mom. He nodded and sprinted out. I carried my mom into the car, and Kenechukwu drove us to the hospital. On the other side, Chiamaka was in her room listening to music when her mom burst in. Mom, I called out, startled. What? Her mom, Mrs. Ifeoma, replied, sitting down. What's going on? I asked. Do you remember the friend I told you about? The one looking for a wife for her son? She asked. Yeah, you always talk about her, I replied. Well, we've decided that her son is going to marry you. My mom dropped the news. What? I shouted. Mom, this isn't happening. I'm not ready for marriage. I'm only 22. So what? I got married when I was 18, she countered. That was different. I can't marry some random guy I don't even know, I said, gesturing as I spoke. Do you think I would agree to this without reason? She asked, pulling out her phone. What are you doing? I asked, confused. Here, look, she said, handing me her phone. Oh my God, Joe? You know Joe's mom? I asked, shocked. Yes, she replied. Oh my God, I'm marrying Joe, I squealed in excitement. I knew you'd be happy. Now clean your room and stop using foul language, especially when she's around. And please, stop dressing like a tomboy when he comes, my mom advised. As long as I'm marrying Joe, I'll do anything, I exclaimed. I'll go call her now, my mom said, leaving the room. I jumped off my bed, grabbed my bra, and tossed it into the wardrobe. My name is Chiamaka. I'm a tomboy, but not bad-looking. And I'm a huge fan of Chiamaka Okafor. I can't believe I'm going to marry my crush. I'm so excited! Dreams do come true, I cheered, jumping on my bed. I'm going to be Mrs. Adams! I can't believe it! I squealed, bouncing around the room. On the other side, what's wrong with my mom? I asked the doctor. She hasn't told you, but your mom has cancer. She doesn't have much time left, he revealed. What? I asked, tears streaming down my face. This is why she wants me to get married, I thought. Is there anything you can do? I asked, desperate. We're doing our best, but there's no guarantee, the doctor said. I sighed deeply. Okay, I said, leaving the office. I went to my mom's room and found her awake. Hey, I greeted her. Hi, she smiled at me. I couldn't believe I didn't know my mom was sick. I had to make her happy. Mom, I've decided I'll get married, I told her. Really? She asked, her face lighting up with joy. Yes, but it'll be a simple court marriage, and no one needs to know, I explained. That's fine, as long as you get married, she said, smiling. Thank you, she whispered, hugging me. I'm doing this for her, but that doesn't mean I'll go easy on the girl who wants to marry me. I'll make your life miserable, just wait and see. You want to be Mrs. Adams? Let's see how you handle that, I thought with a smirk. On the other side, a week to the wedding. But Mom, it's just a court wedding. All these clothes you bought are a waste, I said. I don't care. Oh, how I wish it were a big wedding. But it's okay since his mom promised that after you have your first child, we'll have a grand ceremony, she replied as I sighed. I'm planning for a wedding, but I haven't even seen my groom yet. His mom gave him my number, but he hasn't called. There's even a rumor that he was seen with an actress at a hotel. I was told he liked me after seeing my picture, but he still hasn't called, and nobody except our parents knows about the wedding. Isn't that strange? It feels like my mom isn't telling me the whole truth. Mom, I called. Yes, dear, she answered, showing off her dress. Are you sure Joe likes me? I asked. How many times do I have to tell you? He fell in love with you when he saw your picture, she reassured me. I just hope she's not lying. I'm so lucky to marry the guy I've had a crush on since he started acting at 15. It's overwhelming. If that's true, then I want to meet him, I said. I want to see Joe before the wedding, I added. The next day, I put on a black leather skirt and a blue top, trying not to look like a tomboy, which was hard for me. I know Joe isn't into tomboys. I added light makeup and looked in the mirror. I felt awkward, but I didn't care. My mom barged into my room without knocking, and I sighed. He's here, she announced. What? I asked, surprised. He's in the living room, she said. Okay, I replied, suddenly nervous. Mom, how do I look? Beautiful, of course, she smiled. Let's go, she said as we headed downstairs. I saw Joe sitting on the chair looking around. Oh my God, I whispered, struggling to breathe. Stay calm, Chiamaka, stay calm, I thought. We greeted each other and sat down. Hi, I said to Joe. Yeah, he muttered coldly, pulling out his phone. I felt hurt. Chiamaka, why don't you get Joseph some juice? My mom suggested. On it, I said excitedly, and hurried to the kitchen. I came back with a glass of juice. Here, I said, but I tripped, spilling the juice on him. Are you stupid or what? He snapped angrily, and I flinched. Joseph, his mom scolded him. Sorry, I just got mad. This shirt is really expensive, he muttered. It's okay, my mom said. Chiamaka, take him to clean up, my mom instructed. Yes, I said, feeling embarrassed. I led Joe to the guest room. He looked around, disgusted. Thank you, he said. I'm a big fan of yours. I love your acting, and I can't believe we're getting married. It feels like a dream, I said. You've got it wrong. I'm only doing this for my mom. Don't ever think I like you. Also, do you ever bathe? You smell horrible, he said, wiping the juice off his shirt while I stood there, crushed. My longtime crush just said the meanest things to me. No one had ever spoken to me like that before. I felt so bad, I left the room in tears and went to my own room. This marriage is a terrible idea. I watched as she left the room, clearly upset. She needs to understand that there's nothing between us, and no, she doesn't smell bad. I just said it to hurt her. Seeing her reaction made me feel good. This is just the start. Today's the big day. She's probably thrilled, but why is she late? I have a scene to shoot today, and she's still not here. We've paid the court to keep our marriage secret. I don't want anyone to know I'm getting married, especially since I told my fans I wouldn't marry until I'm 30. Plus, there are plenty of pretty girls I haven't been with yet. Where is she? I asked, annoyed. Just then, she walked in with her mom and mine. Wow, both Kenechukwu and I exclaimed, though I quickly glared at him. She looked stunning. But why was she so dressed up? It's not like this is a big wedding. She almost stumbled when she got close to me, clearly not used to wearing heels. What kind of girl is this? She's totally not my type. I'm sorry I'm late, she apologized. Save it for another time. We've got documents to sign, I said coldly. Okay, she replied softly, and I smiled. I liked seeing her sad. It made me happy. After almost an hour of signing our marriage certificate, we left the court. I'm sorry, but I can't come home with you. I have a scene to shoot, I said. What about our honeymoon? She asked, while both our moms exchanged worried looks. I guess they hadn't told her. There's no honeymoon. I'm too busy. Kenechukwu will drive you home, I said. But, she started, but her mom interrupted. Chamaka, it's fine. Let him go. Thanks, I said, heading to my car to get to the shoot. I returned late that night and found her asleep, snoring. What a pig, I thought. The next morning, I couldn't sleep all night because of her snoring. When she woke up, she screamed at the sight of me. Did you stay up all night? She asked. Yes, I replied calmly. Why? She asked, blushing. Don't get the wrong idea. I couldn't sleep because of your snoring, I said, watching her smile fade. I walked out of the room. Good morning, sir, the maids greeted me. Morning, I muttered, heading to the kitchen for some water. I'm not going to let this go. I need to get my revenge. I saw the maid cooking. What are you making? I asked. Pancakes, she replied nervously. For my wife? Yes, she answered. Leave it, I commanded. What? She asked, confused. I said leave it, I repeated. Okay, sir, she said, and left the kitchen. I added 10 spoonfuls of sugar to the pancakes and made her tea with scalding hot water, adding 5 spoonfuls of sugar. I placed the food on a tray and took it to her room. She looked like she had been crying, but wiped her face quickly. I brought you breakfast. Sorry about what I said earlier, I lied. Thank you, she said, smiling as she picked up her fork. She took a bite and made a face, but she kept eating. How could she eat something so sugary? Is it because she likes me? I wondered. After a few bites, she took a sip of tea and immediately spat it out. Success. My plan worked. She rushed to the bathroom and I smiled to myself. This is just the beginning. On the other side, Chiamaka's, I lay on my bed, tears running down my face. How could Joe be so cruel to me? I really thought I'd be happy marrying the guy I've liked for so long. But now I regret it. How can I make him care about me? What can I do to make him love me back? I sobbed. On the other side, Joe's. I was about to go into the room when I heard Chiamaka crying. For a moment, I felt a little bad, but I didn't regret anything. Maybe I went too far, but I'm not going to apologize. She should have known what she was getting into when she agreed to this marriage. I shouldn't feel guilty. She deserves it for going along with this. Just then, my phone rang. I checked the screen. It was Adiz, the new actress I've been into lately. Hello? I answered. Hey Joe, are you coming to the party tonight? She asked, her voice cheerful. Of course, I wouldn't miss it, I replied. Great, see you there, she said before hanging up. Tonight's party is for Adiz and the new company that signed her. I need to get ready. These are the kinds of girls I like. Fun, exciting, and free. On the other side, Chiamaka's, I stayed in my room all day, too upset to leave. Joe had gone to some party. I heard the door open, so I quickly wiped away my tears. When I looked up, I saw it was my mother-in-law. Are you okay? She asked, noticing how puffy my eyes were from crying. No, I replied, tears welling up again. She walked over and hugged me. What happened? She asked gently. I told her everything, how Joe had been treating me since we got married. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry, she said, holding me tighter. I thought getting married to him would make me happy, I said between sobs, but it's only brought me pain. It's okay, darling, she said softly. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to dress up, go out, and have some fun. Forget about Joe, forget about the marriage, just enjoy yourself. I don't want to, I mumbled, feeling defeated. No, you have to. You need to do this for yourself, she insisted. Okay, I said reluctantly. You'll be fine, and I bet one day Joe will come around and realize what a wonderful person you are, she said with a smile. Her words lifted my spirits a bit. I stood up, chose a nice dress from my wardrobe, and got ready. Joe's mom told her driver to take me to a party in town. When I arrived at the party, I was expecting something casual, but the place was packed with upcoming celebrities and even a few famous faces. I felt out of place. As I was trying to find my way around, a man approached me. Hey there, beautiful. Care to dance? He asked with a grin. No, thank you, I replied quickly, feeling uncomfortable. I excused myself and went to the restroom to gather my thoughts. This wasn't the kind of party I had expected, and I was starting to regret coming. I stepped out of the restroom and made my way back to the main area. But then I saw something that made my heart sink. Joe. He was here, and worse, he was kissing another woman. The sight broke me. Joe, I called softly, feeling a sharp pain in my chest. He turned around, his eyes widening in surprise when he saw me. How could you do this? You're a married man, I said, my voice trembling as I held back tears. Wait, Joe, are you married? The woman asked, shocked. What? Joe and I both said at the same time. Are you married? She repeated, looking directly at Joe. He stayed silent for a moment before speaking. Of course not, he lied. If I was going to get married, do you think I'd marry someone like this? He added, pointing at me. His words cut me like a knife. She's just one of those crazy fans who can't get enough of me, he said dismissively. Yes, I've been obsessed with you, I admitted. But I'm not lying. The woman scoffed. He said you're lying. You're just another desperate girl chasing after him, she sneered. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Anger surged inside me. Without thinking, I slapped her across the face. Chaos erupted. We started fighting, and soon people were filming us with their phones. Stop it, Joe yelled, pulling us apart. But in the process, I stumbled and fell to the ground. She's not worth it. Don't lower yourself to her level, Joe said to the woman, before walking away with her. I sat there in shock, my mind racing. Not worth it, I whispered bitterly. Too cheap, am I? A smile crept onto my face, though my heart was aching. You think I'm cheap? I'll show you just how wrong you are, Joe. You've done the 3 things I hate most: cheated, lied, and ignored me. Now it's my turn to make you pay for what you've done to me. On the other side, Chiamaka, as I got up from where I had fallen and left the party. I felt crushed. All I ever wanted was Joe's love. As I kept walking, I didn't even know where I was going. I just needed to be alone. A car honked, breaking through my thoughts. Hello, miss, the driver said, lowering his window. What do you want? I asked harshly. I've been following you for a while. You seem lost, he said. What? I looked around, realizing I didn't know where I was. He was right. I had no idea where I was heading. Want a ride to your destination? He offered. I'm fine, I said. Come on, I won't bite, he smiled. Okay, I replied, forcing a smile as I got into his car. On the other side, Joe's, after dropping a days off, I rushed home, hoping Chiamaka had returned. When I got there and didn't see her, I felt uneasy. Maybe I went too far. I remembered her hurt expression. It was clear she was disappointed. Suddenly, I heard a car outside. I looked out the window and saw Chiamaka getting out of another man's car. She was smiling. Who was he? She waved as the man drove off, and the security guard opened the door for her. I rushed downstairs, nearly tripping in my haste. Where are you coming from? I demanded as she entered. And who was that man driving you? I added, trying to sound tough, but she ignored me and headed to our room. She looked exhausted, but I didn't care. I just wanted answers about the man. I'm talking to you, I shouted. Just shut up, she snapped back, her voice full of anger. I'm really tired. Let me rest, she said as she headed to the bedroom. I stood there, wondering if I had overreacted. Why should I care if she was with another guy? It's not my problem, right? I went to our room and saw her lying on the bed, probably asleep. I left to sleep in the guest room. I couldn't sleep at all. My mind kept replaying images of Chamaka with that guy. I got up, did my morning routine, and stepped out of the guest room. Thankfully, I had the day off from work. Good morning, Kenichukwu greeted me. Morning, I replied. How was your night? I asked. But Kenichukwu didn't answer. His mouth hung open, staring in the direction of Chamaka, who was coming down the stairs in a revealing white tank top and a mini skirt. I couldn't help but stare too. Who wouldn't? But then I noticed Kenichukwu drooling over my wife. Kenichukwu, I called out, angry. Sorry, sir. He quickly apologized, realizing his mistake. Leave, I ordered, and he left in a hurry. I turned to Chiamaka, who was now in the kitchen. How can a married woman dress like this? I asked, annoyed. Why can't I? A married man cheats on his wife, so what's wrong with me dressing this way? She retorted and walked off. I realized this was about yesterday. I felt a pang of regret for my actions. Sir, breakfast is ready, one of the maids said. Okay, I replied, heading to the dining room. Chiamaka was already seated. We were served jollof rice and the maids left. I took a bite of the food. I said, clearing my throat. But then I took another bite, and my mouth felt like it was on fire. The food was way too spicy. I reached for water, but there was none. Water, I need water, I croaked, saliva dripping from my mouth. When I looked up, I saw Chiamaka standing there, recording me on her phone. You! I yelled, furious. On the other side, Chiamaka's, I couldn't help but smile as I watched Joe struggle, asking for water. I pulled out my phone and started recording him. On the other side, Chiamaka's flashback in the kitchen earlier, I went to grab some juice, but then I saw the jollof rice that had been prepared for breakfast. I remembered what Joe had done to my pancakes, so I decided to get my revenge. I took a large amount of pepper from the freezer and mixed it into the rice. I stirred it well, grinning to myself. Just then, Joe called my name. I quickly pretended to be looking for something in the freezer. "How can a married woman dress like this?" he asked, clearly upset. "Why can't I? A married man cheats on his wife, so what's wrong with me dressing like this?" I said, then walked away. I couldn't wait to see his reaction when he tasted the food. "You!" Joe yelled, saliva still dripping from his mouth. "Yes, me," I replied, grinning. "Why, are you hurt? Does it feel like your mouth is burning?" Poor Joe, I mocked, still recording. "This video is going viral. I can't wait to see how people react," I said, enjoying every second of it. "Do you need water?" I teased. "Yes," he managed to say. I grabbed a cup of water, my phone still in hand, and walked over to him. "Here," I said. But instead of giving him the water to drink, I poured it all over him. "Oh, my bad," I said sarcastically. "This is just the beginning. I'm going to show you what true wickedness is," I said, before stopping the recording and heading upstairs. "This is just the start, Joe. Soon you'll be begging for my forgiveness." On the other side, Chiamaka's Chamaka, Joe yelled as he barged into the room. "I want you to take that video down right now," he demanded. I didn't bother looking up, continuing to tap away on my phone. "Chiamaka, I'm talking to you," he shouted again. "Are you done yapping?" "Fine, I'll just leave," I said, standing up to go. But he pushed me back, and I grabbed his shirt. The force caused us both to fall onto the bed, with him landing on top of me. We froze, staring at each other in surprise. My eyes drifted to his lips, and for a moment, I had the urge to kiss him, but I quickly pushed him off. I'll take it down," I stuttered, rushing out of the room, my heart racing. That was too close, I thought, placing my hand on my chest. On the other side, Joe's, I lay on my bed, thinking about what just happened. What if I had kissed her? The thought made me bite my lower lip. "Am I crazy?" I muttered, shaking my head. I need to get back at her for what she did with that video. But how? A perfect plan started to form in my mind. I smiled to myself. On the other side, Chiamaka's, I was woken up by loud music coming from the pool area. "Who's having a party at this hour?" I grumbled, getting out of bed in my nightgown. I went outside, annoyed. The maids were in their quarters, so I knew no one else should be there. When I reached the pool, my so-called husband was dancing in his underwear with a half-naked woman. I felt a surge of anger and stormed back inside. He's going to regret this. I'll make sure of it. On the other side, Joe's the past few days have been strange. Chiamaka hasn't caused any trouble. She's been unusually calm. Has she finally learned her place, or is she planning something big? I couldn't stop wondering. "Sir, we have a problem," Kenachukwu said, interrupting my thoughts. "What is it?" I asked. The producer of Married But Still Searching called. "You've been removed from the movie. The lead actress doesn't want you anymore, and Dave and company also dropped you as their model." "What? Why?" I asked, shocked. "It's because of the post on your Instagram. Why did you post that you're gay?" Kenachukwu asked. "What? I didn't post that," I yelled. On the other side, Chiamaka's, I overheard Kenachukwu and Joe talking, and I couldn't help but smile. My plan was working. I had posted on his Instagram account that he was gay, and now his career was taking a hit. "I did it, and I feel great," I whispered to myself, sipping my wine. I saw Joe walking toward me, furious. He grabbed me and pinned me against the wall, his face inches from mine. My heart raced. "Are you crazy?" he asked, his voice full of frustration. "Why? Are you hurt? Does it feel like your heart is breaking?" "Because this is just the beginning," I said, pushing him away. "I'm going to make you regret cheating on me and treating me like this." Mark my words. Just then, my phone rang. I looked at the screen. It was Uchi, the guy who gave me a ride home the other day. Hello? I answered. Hey, can we meet? It's important, he said. I sighed. Okay, where? I asked. I'll come pick you up, he replied before hanging up. On the other side, Joe's, did I hurt her that much? To be honest, she's beautiful. Any man would be lucky to have her. She doesn't deserve to be sad, but for some reason, seeing her upset makes me feel better. Maybe it's time to stop. Maybe I should try to be a better husband, even if I don't love her. I followed her upstairs and saw her putting on makeup. Wow, I murmured, not meaning to say it out loud. Why wow? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Would you like to go on a date with me? I blurted out, instantly regretting it. What was I thinking? No, she said bluntly. What? I asked, not believing my ears. I said no, she repeated, just as we heard a car honk outside. I'll see you later, she said, grabbing her purse and leaving the room. Did she really just reject me? Me? I couldn't believe it. I ran after her, and when I got outside, I saw her smiling with that guy, Uchi, who had dropped her off the other night. Are they dating? I thought, feeling a sudden pang of jealousy. Let's go, Uchi said to Chiamaka. She's not going anywhere with you, I said, stepping between them and grabbing Chiamaka's hand. What? Chiamaka asked, confused. Wait, what did I just say? On the other side, Joe's, my lady is going nowhere, I said, standing firm. What? Chiamaka asked, confused. What did I just say? I thought to myself. We have an important meeting. We need to go now, Uchi said, trying to reason with me. Didn't you hear me? She's not going anywhere with you, I snapped. Why? Uchi asked, and Chamaka echoed. Yes, why? Good question. Why did I say that? I wondered. Because I said so, and I don't need to explain myself, I answered, my voice firm. Well, I guess we'll have to postpone this, Uchi said, attempting to stay calm. You're postponing nothing, I barked back. Get that through your thick skull, jerk. I grabbed Chamaka's hand and pulled her inside. On the other side, Chamaka's, you're hurting me. I winced as Joe pushed me against the wall. Don't ever see that guy again. I don't like it. And don't you ever reject me for another man? It hurts, Joe said, his voice softer now. It really does. I know I haven't been a good husband and we don't love each other, but let's at least try to understand each other. I really don't want to see you with that guy, he added. He hesitated for a moment and then said, and by the way, you look beautiful. With that, he walked away, leaving me stunned. Did Joe really just say all that? It felt almost like a confession, I thought, smiling to myself. On the other side, Uchi's, I chuckled as I watched Joe drag Chiamaka inside. My name is Uchi Johnson. Joe's mom hired me to make her son jealous enough to fall in love with his wife. But things are going in a different direction. Ever since I met Chiamaka, I can't stop thinking about her. She's beautiful, kind, and I think I'm falling in love with her. I was supposed to help make Joe appreciate her, but now I want her for myself. You can't expect to give a dog a piece of meat and not expect it to eat it. I'm just doing what's natural. On the other side, Joe's today could have been great. I woke up with the intention of making things right with Chamaka. I don't love her, but I want to be a better husband, even just for once. I wanted to see her smile, to make her happy. Earlier that morning, I woke up determined to make breakfast for Chiamaka. I thought if I tried being romantic, maybe things would improve between us. I made toast and warm milk, hoping she'd like it. I put everything on a tray and headed to the bedroom, feeling a bit nervous but excited. I opened the door without knocking, only to find Chiamaka naked, applying lotion. God! Chiamaka yelped, covering herself quickly. Sorry, I stammered, backing out of the room, my face burning with embarrassment. Snap out of it, I told myself, shaking my head. Come in, I heard her say after a moment. I entered and placed the tray on the bed. I'm really sorry about that, I apologized. It's okay. Things like that happen, she said, surprisingly calm. At least she wasn't angry. I made you breakfast, I said, hoping to break the awkward silence. You made me breakfast? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Don't worry, it's good this time. No too much sugar, I joked, and we both laughed. She took a bite of the toast. So? I asked, eager for her reaction. Well, it's toast and milk. Anyone can do that, she teased. Is that a dare? I asked, grinning. It's a fact, she said playfully. I'll cook something better, and you'll regret saying that, I declared. Whatever, she replied, looking adorable. Later. So what are you cooking? Chiamaka asked, watching me. Eggs and plantain, I said confidently. Anyone can do that, she teased, laughing. You think it's easy? I asked, pretending to be offended. Move, she said, playfully pushing me aside with her hip. Oh my God, she laughed when she saw the mess I made slicing the pepper. I can see you're doing a great job, she said sarcastically as I rolled my eyes. This is how you slice pepper, she demonstrated, and I stood behind her, guiding her hand. Her back pressed against my chest, and for a moment, the tension between us was undeniable. Our faces were inches apart. Joe! Someone called, breaking the moment. We both turned to see a Daze standing there. On the other side, Chiamaka's? Isn't she that obsessed fan? I asked Joe, confused. Joe hesitated. Yes, she is, he said, but I could see the doubt on his face. So, why is she here? I asked, feeling my anger rising. She told me she had nowhere else to go, so I said she could stay here. Joe lied, and I felt my heart sink. I didn't say anything. I just turned and went upstairs. A few minutes later, I came back down, ready to leave. I didn't bother saying goodbye. On the other side, Joe's, I watched Chamaka leave without a word. I knew I had messed up. If only a Daze hadn't shown up, today could have been perfect. But now everything was ruined, and I knew I'd regret it. On the other side, Chamaka's, I left the house furious. Why couldn't he admit I was his wife? It hurt so much. My phone rang. I answered without checking who it was. What do you want? I yelled. Whoa, calm down, it's Uchi, came the reply. Oh, sorry, I'm just angry, I said, sighing. It's okay, want to meet up? He asked. Sure, I replied, needing a distraction. Cross Club? He suggested. See you there, I said, hanging up. Chiamaka's at Cross Club. So, your husband did that to you? Uchi asked, looking concerned. Yes, I said sadly, feeling a bit tipsy from the drinks. I'm sorry, he said gently. It's okay, I replied, my words slurring slightly. Why don't you forget about it for now and dance? He suggested. No, I'm too drunk, I said, laughing. Come on, he insisted, pulling me to the dance floor. As we danced, I felt someone approach. I turned to see Joe, and despite my blurry vision, I knew it was him. Suddenly, he grabbed me and pulled me away from Uchi. How many times do I have to say it? She belongs to me, Joe said angrily. I'm sorry, Uchi muttered, backing off. Let's go, Joe said to me, but I pulled away from him. Why should I go with you? I demanded. Because I'm your husband, Joe replied. Husband? You can't even admit I'm your wife. All I've ever wanted was for you to notice me, to love me. But you act like I don't exist. When we got married, I was so happy, but you never liked me. All I wanted was your love, just for one day. But it's never going to happen. Tears welled up in my eyes as I continued. You've lost the right to call me your wife. Let's get a divorce, I said, walking out of the club, leaving Joe behind. On the other Chiamakas, I just want to know if he has any feelings for me. I don't want to waste my time, and I'll never divorce him, even if he asks for it. I didn't go to his house. I know I can't go to my mom's house either, because I won't have peace there. So, I decided to stay at a hotel. I thought about staying with a friend, but I don't really have friends. I'm kind of a wild person, and no one wants to hang out with me. I sat on the hotel bed, trying to forget about Joe for a day. Love is stupid. You fall in love, and if you're lucky, the person loves you back. But if you're not, you get hurt. Forget Joe. Forget love. Ugh, I can't stop thinking about him. On the other Joe's divorce? Sure, if that's what she wants, I said, pacing the room, checking my watch. Divorce? Who cares if she wants a divorce? It's not like I care, I said, nervously biting my thumb. Damn, I do care, I muttered, pulling my thumb from my mouth. Where is she? Is she with that guy? I asked, feeling a surge of anger. Ugh. I was frustrated. Where could she be? I wasn't mad at her, but at myself. On the other Chiamakas, I woke up to a knock on my door. Who could it be? I didn't order anything. I opened the door and saw Uchi standing there. This felt weird and a bit scary. How did he know I was here? Good morning, he said. Morning. How did you know I was here? I asked, blocking him from entering. I followed you, he replied with a creepy smile. So, can I come in now? He asked. Sure, I said, still feeling uneasy. He sat on the bed. I brought pizza and chicken. I figured you might be hungry, and hotel food isn't the best, he said quietly. Thanks, I said, taking the pizza and chicken. I'll go freshen up, I told him and went to the bathroom. I still found him strange. To be honest, he's been weird from the beginning. Or maybe it's just me not liking him much. Maybe he's just being nice, I thought. On the other Uchas, as soon as Chiamaka went to the bathroom, I took out my camera and hid it behind the vase, making sure it could capture us both. She came back out, now dressed. She sat on the floor, ready to dig into the pizza and chicken. Thanks for this, she said, taking a bite of pizza. So, how are things with your husband? I asked. Please, I don't want to talk about that jerk. I regret marrying him, she said. He's the worst thing that ever happened to me, she added. She had no idea I was recording her. I just wish he could love me, she said, almost crying. You shouldn't cry over someone who doesn't deserve your tears, I said, moving closer and wiping her tears with my hand. He doesn't deserve you. You need someone who knows your worth. Someone like me, I said, suddenly kissing her. She froze for a moment before realizing what was happening. She quickly pulled away and slapped me. You must be crazy, she shouted. I want you to leave now, right now, she yelled. I grabbed my phone and secretly took the camera when she wasn't looking. Leave now, she screamed. Okay, I'm sorry, I said, and left her room. Let's see how your husband will react to this. On the other Chiamakas, I couldn't believe what had just happened. I couldn't believe he kissed me. What the heck? Then I heard another knock on the door. Is that Uchi again? I told you. I started, but stopped when I saw Joe standing there. What do you want? I asked. We need to go somewhere, he said. I don't want to go with you, I said. Please, he begged. Fine, I sighed. Put this on, he said, handing me a bag. Okay, I said, slamming the door in his face. I wondered what he was up to. On the other Joes, I waited for her outside. I had made up my mind. Tonight, at the party celebrating my partnership with Louis, a fashion company, I was going to do it. She came out looking beautiful as always. Let's go, I said, offering her my arm, but she hissed and walked past me. We got in the car, and my driver took us to the event. When we arrived, all eyes were on us. What are we doing here? What if the press finds out about us? Chamaka asked, worried. Adizi walked up to us. Why is she here? She asked. I gave the cameraman the signal to start. She's here for me, to support her husband, I said. What? Both Chiamaka and Adizi exclaimed. This is my wife, Chiamaka Adams. She's my woman, I said, and everyone gasped as the reporters started taking pictures. On the other Chiamakas, she is my wife, my woman, Joe said, putting his hand around my waist. I looked at him, feeling both happy and excited. The reporters rushed toward us, asking questions, but Joe's bodyguards blocked them and let us out. We got into the car. To our house, he told the driver. The car ride was quiet. When we arrived, I was about to go to my room, but Joe stopped me, holding my hand, and led me to the dining room. It was decorated with flowers and candles. I know this doesn't make up for everything I've done, but I want to try, he said apologetically. I just laughed softly. Thank you, I replied quietly. My pleasure, he said, pulling out a chair for me. We ate and talked, and it felt romantic. But during the meal, I noticed Joe kept staring at me. After dinner, we went to our bedroom. The silence returned as we lay in bed. I wanted to cuddle with him, but didn't feel like we were close enough yet. Good night, I said nervously, holding onto the blanket. Good night, he said, turning away, and I did the same. We lay with our backs to each other, which made me feel awkward. I turned around and saw him facing me, our lips nearly touching. He leaned in and kissed my forehead, making my heart race. Good night, he said again. Thanks, I whispered, turning back. I felt his hand on my waist as he moved closer, holding me from behind. Butterflies fluttered in my stomach. A forehead kiss and cuddling? Only lovers do that. Are we lovers now? The next morning, I woke up, still feeling happy about the night before. I turned over, but he wasn't there. You're awake, I heard him say. I looked at him holding a cup of tea. He sat next to me. I made some tea for you, he said. You're acting differently. What changed? I asked, curious. I just want to be the best husband I can be. I don't want to make you cry anymore. I realize that seeing you smile makes me happier than anything else, he said. It wasn't exactly what I expected to hear, but it made me happy. Let's be good to each other, he added. Okay, I agreed and hugged him. On the other Joes, I watched Chiamaka making breakfast and jokingly called me terrible at cooking. If you keep staring, I won't be able to focus, she teased. But I can't stop looking at your beautiful face, I said, making her blush. I smiled at her reaction. You're such a liar, she laughed. I'm not, I said. Really? Who's prettier, me or Adaz? She asked, pouting. I hesitated. Don't answer. I already know, she said, her lips still pouting. I leaned in and gave her a quick kiss on the lips. She froze, shocked. I think that answers your question, I said, pulling away. She blinked, surprised. Her reaction made me laugh. Just then, my phone rang. I have to take this, I told her and walked away to answer. Hello? I said. It's Uchi, the guy who was with your wife the other day, he said, making me instantly angry. What do you want? I demanded. I'm outside your house. Let's talk, he replied. Why should I asked. It's about your wife, he said, and I rushed outside. What could he want to say about her? I found him standing next to his car. What do you mean? I asked. Here, he said, handing me an envelope. You'll understand once you look inside, he said before getting into his car and driving away, leaving me confused. I opened it and what I saw made my world crumble. I stormed back inside furious. You're back already? Chamaka said with a smile, but it felt fake. That smile was fake. I felt disgusted. You're such a liar. I can't believe I kissed those filthy lips, I shouted, throwing the pictures at her. She picked them up, looking shocked, probably because her secret was out. I can explain, she stammered. Explain what? I yelled. You know what? Let's just get a divorce, I said angrily. On the other, Chiamaka's. Let's just get a divorce, Joe said. I feel disgusted seeing you here, he added. I just want you to leave, he said as tears streamed down my face. She's not going anywhere, my mother-in-law said as she walked in. She came closer and picked up the picture from the floor, looking shocked but quickly composed herself. She's not going anywhere, she repeated. But Mom, she cheated on me, Joe exclaimed. Is she the only one cheating here? She asked, and Joe fell silent. She's staying. My daughter is going inside, she told me. Don't even think about it. I don't want to see you here when I get back, Joe shouted as he stormed out of the house. What am I supposed to do? Why is it that every time I feel like things are finally going right, something always comes along to ruin it? All I ever wanted was Joe's love, to just be with him. But why does everything always go wrong? On the other Uchis, I feel so satisfied knowing my plan is working perfectly. Chiamaka will be mine, and mine alone. There was a knock at my door. When I opened it, I was met with a slap. "I told you to make Joe jealous, not destroy her home," Joe's mom yelled at me. "With all due respect, ma'am, yes, you hired me to do a job, but I found something more valuable than your money, and that's Chamaka. I'm sorry, but her home isn't my problem anymore." "Now, if you'll excuse me," I said and shut the door. "Chiamaka is going to be mine." On the other Joes, I feel betrayed. How could she? Does she really need me to say it before she understands how I feel? I'm devastated, hurt, and angry. I have to make her regret this. I need to make her pay. There's only one way. I'll make her jealous because I know she still likes me. On the other Chamakas, I rushed outside when I heard Joe's car honk. He stepped out with another woman. "Let's go inside, babe," he said, smacking her on the butt. "What are you doing with a SLT?" I shouted angrily. "A SLT? A SLT calling someone else a SLT? You don't have the right to say that," he replied, and I slapped him. "Screw you and screw this marriage. I'll give you what you want. Let's divorce, just like you wanted. But know this, I never cheated on you," I said, and stormed upstairs. I went to the wardrobe and packed my things. I'm leaving for good. I'll never come back to him. Love hurts. And now I understand that I'll never get him to love me. All I wanted was his love, but I got nothing. On the other Joza, I groaned in pain as I woke up the next morning. I looked around the bed, but Chamaka wasn't there. Where could she be? I got up and headed outside, hearing some noise coming from the kitchen. When I got there, I saw my mom. "You're awake," she said. "Where's Chamaka?" I asked. "Why are you asking me when you're the reason she left?" she replied, which confused me. "What do you mean?" I asked. "She's gone. Her mom told me she wants a divorce," she said. "What?" I asked, shocked. "Isn't that what you wanted, for her to leave?" she said while slicing some apples. "So now that she's gone, I'm sure you're happy," she added. "Oh, and I'm not sure if I should tell you this, but I was the one who sent Uchi. I thought involving him would help you both fall in love, but I was wrong," she admitted. "So you sent Uchi?" I asked, surprised. "Yes, and I'm sorry for that," she said. "But that doesn't change the fact that she cheated on me," I said. "Don't you get it? The reason Uchi sent you those pictures was to make this happen," she explained. "So you're saying he planned it?" I asked. "Yes, but it's too late now. She's leaving the country today," she said. "What? How can she just leave like that?" I asked, feeling panicked. "You hurt her with that woman you brought home yesterday. She loves you, but you played with her heart. All she ever wanted was your love, but you never gave her attention. You kept hurting her," she said. "It's not entirely your fault. It's mine too. I forced this marriage on both of you," she said, sounding guilty. "When is she leaving?" I asked urgently. "I don't know," she replied. "When?" I shouted. "If you're lucky, you'll catch her at her house. If not, she's already on her way to the airport," she said. I rushed inside, grabbed my car keys, and called Chiamaka's number. She answered after the second ring. "What do you want?" she asked coldly. "I love you," I said, and she fell silent. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to know that I love you. Please don't leave. I know I've made stupid mistakes and called you horrible names, but I was only jealous and foolish. I should have told you sooner. I love you, Chiamaka," I confessed. "I love," she started to say, but suddenly stopped. "Chamaka?" I called. "Chamaka?" I called again, but there was no response. I could hear some sounds, but they weren't clear. "Chamaka, are you okay? Chamaka, answer me," I shouted. On the other Chamakas, I was in the supermarket parking lot, about to get into my car, when I got Joe's call. He confessed his feelings to me. "I love you, Chiamaka," Joe said, and tears of joy ran down my face. He had finally admitted his feelings. I began to reply, but I felt someone behind me. I turned around, and the last thing I heard was Joe's voice before everything went black. "On the other Joe's Joe." My mom called as I rushed out of the house. I jumped into my car and drove straight to Chiamaka's mom's place. I knocked on the door and she opened it right away. "Where's Chamaka?" I asked urgently. "She went to the supermarket on the next street," she replied. "Okay," I said. "What's going on?" she asked. "I think she's in danger. Call the police and have them meet me there," I said, before leaving quickly. I reached the supermarket parking lot, got out of the car, and called Chamaka's number as I walked inside. I heard her ringtone and followed the sound. Then I saw her phone on the ground, the screen completely shattered. This could only mean one thing. Her phone fell because something startled her. Since she wasn't there, it was clear. Chiamaka had been kidnapped. On the other Chiamakas, I woke up in a strange room, lying on a bed. What am I doing here? I wondered, standing up. I walked out of the room, hearing sounds from another room nearby. I opened the door and saw a man sitting in a chair watching TV with his back turned to me. "Who are you?" I asked, and the man turned around. "Uchi?" I said, shocked. "Hello, dear," he greeted me. "What am I doing here? After you ruined my marriage?" I yelled at him. "Calm down, love," he said, walking toward me. "I did this for us. For you. I know that jerk would never let us be together, so I took you away from him," he explained. "What? Are you insane? I will never love someone like you," I shouted, and he slapped me. "Listen here," he said, gripping my jaw. "I'm crazy about you, and no man, nobody, is going to stop me from being with you," he said firmly. "I'm going to prove that to you soon," he added, and I flinched in fear. What does he mean? He looked at his watch and said, "The game is about to begin." He pulled out a handkerchief and pressed it to my nose. Everything went dark. On the other Joes in the supermarket parking lot. "Don't worry, Mr. Adams, we're going to find her," the police officer assured me. "Please do," I replied. "Does she have any enemies, or is anyone against your relationship?" he asked. "None that I can think of," I said. "All right, let us know if you get any ideas," he added. "Okay," I said, and got back into my car. "Chiamaka, what's happened to you?" "This is all my fault. I never treated you the way you deserved. But please, come back to me safely." I buried my head in my hands. My phone rang. An unknown number? "Hello," I answered. "If you want your wife back, come to this address. And don't call the police," the voice on the other end threatened. "Who are you?" I asked, clenching my fist. "Don't ask questions if you don't want your wife dead," the caller said before hanging up. The voice sounded familiar, but that didn't matter. My wife was in danger. On the other Chiamakas, "My head hurts," I groaned. My vision was blurry. "Where am I?" I asked as I slowly regained consciousness. I realized I was in an old abandoned house, lying on the floor. "You're awake," Uchi said, trying to touch me, but I pulled away. "I'm sorry for hitting you. I was just angry," he said. "This guy is seriously crazy. I need to be smart." "Okay," I said, trying to stay calm. "I didn't expect you to talk," he said, smiling. "This must be my fate. It's better to be with someone who loves me than someone who doesn't," I said, and he stroked my cheek. "Let's see if you still feel that way when he gets here," he said. "Who?" I asked. "You'll find out soon. I'll be back," he said, before leaving the room. After a while, he returned, dragging Joe, who was unconscious. "Joe!" I shouted, but Uchi just looked at me. "Don't worry, dear. He's not dead," Uchi said. "I see," I replied, trembling with fear. Uchi splashed water on Joe and he woke up. "Chamaka?" Joe exclaimed in surprise. "Let me go!" he shouted at Uchi. "Chiamaka, are you okay?" he asked, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. I wanted to cry seeing him like that. "Let my wife go!" Joe yelled, and Uchi pulled a gun from his pocket, hitting Joe with it. "Joe!" I screamed as blood started to flow. "You monster!" I shouted without thinking. "Monster?" Uchi said, turning toward me. He hit me again, and I fell to the ground. "You were telling me it was better to be with me than him, but it was all lies." He pointed his gun at Joe. "I'll kill him, then kill both of us," Uchi said, ready to pull the trigger. I ran to Joe before Uchi could shoot, and the bullet hit me instead. "No!" They both screamed. On the other Joe's Chamaka, I yelled, rushing toward her as she lay in a pool of blood. The police freed me from the ropes after hearing the gunshot. "Chiamaka, look at me," I cried out, panicking. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "No, don't say that," I begged, my voice trembling. "I love you," she said softly. "I told you not to talk like that. Baby, stay with me. Look at me," I urged. "I've loved you ever since you started acting. Marrying you was the happiest moment of my life, but you didn't feel the same way. All I ever wanted was your love, even if just for one day. I wished you would love me, and now that I finally have your love, I can go without any regrets. My wish came true." "I love you, Joe," she said, closing her eyes. "No," I shouted, shaking her gently. "Chiamaka, don't leave me. Please, Chiamaka, don't go." "No." 9 months later, on the other Joes, the past months have been a struggle for me, like living in my own nightmare. But sometimes, even in hard times, there's a bright spot. 9 months ago, I almost lost Chiamaka, but fate had other plans. She survived, and so did our baby. Uchi was arrested and sentenced for attempted murder and kidnapping. But life's been challenging because of Chiamaka's pregnancy. She's been so lazy, using it as an excuse to avoid everything. Suddenly, an idea came to mind. "Ow, my hand!" I shouted. "My hand!" I cried again, louder. Chiamaka rushed out of the bedroom. "What happened?" she asked, already in tears. "I cut my hand," I said dramatically, but when she got closer, I laughed. "Gotcha," I teased. Her face turned cold with anger. "Do you know how worried I was, you jerk?" she snapped, hitting me lightly, then holding her belly in pain. "What's wrong?" I asked, concerned. "My stomach," she said, grimacing. "Chiamaka," I cried, terrified, as she nearly collapsed into my arms. "Chiamaka, please don't do this." "It was just a joke," I said, panicking. "Forget you," she said, standing up slowly. "Don't mess with me next time," she warned, smiling. "You," I said, pointing at her. "You messed with the wrong person," she grinned. "I hate you," I teased. "Aw, but I love you. I love you more than life itself. I love you and our baby more than anything. You mean the world to me, and I'm so happy to finally have your love," she said. "I love you, Joe," she whispered. I smiled. "I love you too," I said, hugging her. "Ow," she winced. "I'm not falling for that again," I said, laughing. "Joe, I'm serious. My stomach, my back," she groaned. "What's happening?" I asked, now really worried. "I think my water just broke," she said. "What? How?" I stammered. "Joe!" she screamed. "At the hospital. Where's my wife?" I asked anxiously. "Be patient, Mr. Adams. This is the 5th time you've asked. Please calm down," the nurse said kindly. Just then, another nurse rushed out, making me even more nervous. Dear God, if my wife and baby are safe, I promise to be a good man. A few minutes later, the doctor came out. "Where's my wife?" I asked again. He smiled. "Congratulations. Your wife gave birth to a healthy baby girl. She's asking for you," he said. I rushed to her room and saw her holding our baby. "Joe," she called softly when she saw me. "Are you all right?" I asked, taking her hand. "Yes," she said with a tired smile. I gently took the baby in my arms. I couldn't stop smiling. She was just as beautiful as her mother. "Thank you," I whispered to Chiamaka. "I promise I'll be the best father and a better husband to both of you. I love you both more than anything. Forever and always." Love isn't about control or revenge. It's about care and respect. Joe and Chiamaka's relationship was full of pain because they kept hurting each other. But when Joe finally realized how much Chamaka meant to him, it took a near tragedy for him to confess his love. Chiamaka nearly lost her life, and that moment made them both understand that true love is about healing and forgiveness, not tearing each other down. Do you think love can truly heal a broken relationship, even after so much pain? Comment below and don't forget to subscribe to African Tales by AB for more stories like this.